Hi everyone, it's Amir Nazir here. I'm here with Daniel Priestley. We're going to be speaking about his book, Becoming a Key Person of Influence. It's an amazing book. I've just finished reading it. So Daniel, thank you for taking the time.
My pleasure.
Interview us. What I'd like to do is start by talking about your background, because you mentioned in the book you only came to the UK in 2006 with only a credit card and a suitcase.
I did, yeah.
And in a very short space of time, you've become a key person of influence.
Sure. As you can hear from my accent, I'm from Australia, and I built quite a big business in Australia. It was a national business, turning over many millions of dollars, and I got that to a position where it had a manager and it had someone else running it, and I wanted to set myself a new challenge, and I'd never been above the equator. So I set myself what I called the suitcase and credit card challenge, which is, can I arrive in England with nothing more than a suitcase and a credit card and build a multi-million-pound business? And basically, when I arrived in Heathrow, I knew no one, and I just had my suitcase and my credit card, and I went out to start a new business. And the key thing that I know is that businesses form around important people. So people need to first know that you're an important person, or that you're a key person of influence. So one of my first goals in London was not actually to launch the business. One of my first goals was to establish myself with other key people of influence, to make sure that I was mixing in the right circles so that I could adjust and see that the opportunity was right, and get a real flavour for the UK market. So my first month here, all I did, with no agenda, was sat down with other key people of influence, and I took them out for coffee and for dinner. I ran a dinner party for 40 other really key people of influence. I paid for everything. I put on wine and dinner, and I made sure that before I even started launching the business, I was connecting with the right people.
So, I mean, how did you know that was going to be a successful strategy?
I have a belief that the people who mix in the right circles hear about the right opportunities. In fact, the belief goes even stronger than that, and I talk about it in the book. If you're not in the right circles, if you're not on the inner circle, you actually don't hear about the great opportunities. So in the book I talk about these three layers, that people start out in an industry as a newbie. They're really super excited about the industry, so they just get in, they work for free. The next level is they end up working as a worker bee. As a worker bee is 99% of the industries, and 95% of all the people in the industry are worker bees. So if you take an exciting industry like music industry, 95% of the people in the music industry do not have exciting jobs. They have boring, normal jobs. They get to work at 9, they knock off at 5, they check their emails, they do their thing, and they go home. And they earn normal money. There's only a small percentage of key people in that industry who make lots of money and have lots of fun, and that's the same in every industry. So if you're a worker bee, if you're not on the inner circle, you're just not hearing about the right opportunities. So I knew that if there was going to be an opportunity in my marketplace here in the UK, I had to start by getting on that inner circle. I had to start by making sure I was connected and friends with the right people first.
What is the market that you were targeting? What niche?
My niche when I first arrived to London was I wanted to work with entrepreneurs who were turning over less than £700,000.
And I mean, your book is really a book of the times, because you mention an idea in there that we're in the ideas economy. Could you expand on that?
Well, if we went back 150 years ago, 150 to 200 years ago, you would have seen that there was a shift between the agricultural economy and the industrial age. So the agricultural economy said that the wealthiest people in the country were going to be farmers and people who own a lot of land. If you owned a lot of land, you would do very well in the agricultural economy. And then that changed, and it went from people who own land to people who own factories. And the people who own factories became incredibly wealthy, and the people who didn't own factories ended up working for someone who did. Now the industrial age is defined by the factory, it's defined by the machinery and the processes. Now if you have a look at what sets that up is the high cost of a factory. So if you said that 100 years ago, how much would it cost to start a factory so that you even just have the means of production? Well, it would cost in today's money £1 million. So only people who have £1 million can start a factory. So only people who have £1 million can own their own labour. Now in the last 5 years, that's changed. In the last 5 years, A factory consists of a mobile phone, a website, a computer, some business cards, an information brochure, a well-defined niche, and your ability to get out there with some passion.
All things which are accessible by anybody.
Anyone. I see students who are earning great money and setting up their own factory. Now, as soon as you admit that the cost of the factory has fallen through to virtually nothing, then the industrial age doesn't exist anymore, because the industrial age was set up by the idea that the factory was only for the few and the masses had to work in the factory. The minute you actually say that's no longer the case, we're in a different age.